Well, hello, Bob Dandry here, and welcome back to Transport Fever 2, The Long Game. So, last week we put a whole lot of building into getting a new steel chain set up, which will hopefully help drive some machinery, maybe later on some tools as well, to really boost the production of those two resources, as we don't have a heap of them in the network. One thing I did notice, I think it was after I finished recording, but while I was still sort of finishing up last episode, is that we've now unlocked some new boxcars, which are high speed, I believe. In fact, we've done a lot of unlocking. As you can see, we've got boxcars, and we've also got gondolas as well, which help us out with, well, pretty much everything. We still need some new stay cars, unfortunately, but hey, it is what it is. It's better than nothing. So before we go on, we're going to grab our cross river freight trip train, and we're just going to replace the box cars on that line so that we can get some quicker throughput there. All right, cross river freight trip train. So let's have a look. We've got a lot of trains running on this. I feel like we meant to replace some, but hey, it's all right. So we're going to do some editing here. I want to grab all of our trains that have box cars on them, which is all of those ones, and we're going to edit them all. It'd be great if we just had a random option here, which unfortunately we do not. Oh, that's interesting actually. These are obviously quite heavy compared to the box cars we were using before. What, they are 25 ton, these are 15 ton. So the old, I don't know what these are, Atlantics aren't going to cut it. So I'm thinking we might actually swap them out then. And we already have some Class 9000s in here. So we've actually unlocked some new K4s, which are freight locomotives. They are reasonably powerful. Let's compare them to our Atlantics. Yeah, well, I mean, it's not even a comparison there, is it? So, yeah, we might actually run with these instead. I don't know why we've got the Polar Express in here. But yeah, there's that, I guess. Cool. So, I'm actually going to replace these, to be honest. These are reasonably old. And so we will... I think these are all Atlantics, aren't they? I don't know if we need to replace them, actually. Certainly, we'll actually keep them. And we can use them to shift onto some other lines, something like that. So, no, we're not going to get rid of them entirely. But we will shift them all onto a fresh train that we can keep. All right, we've got our 6 Atlantics that are now just sitting by themselves now, not doing much. So for our all boxcar trains, I'm going to completely replace these. As I said, we're going to get some of these 284s running. These are powerful and hopefully can pull a 320 meter long boxcar train. Yeah, beautiful. So it is mediocre, but that's pretty good actually, because I think they only went down to mediocre like 1 or 2 boxcars before the end there. So pretty good, pretty good. All right, so our all boxcar trains are fixed up. That's a massive capacity, so that's really good to see. Now, we did also, in fact, what we can probably do, we can probably get rid of the boxcars entirely from our other trains, at least for the moment, because this is such a big jump in capacity. I think it's about 60 capacity higher, which is quite significant, to be honest. So we might possibly, just looking, might possibly consolidate these into a flat car and a tank car train, just a single one of each. And we did unlock some new flat cars, I'm pretty sure I saw before, maybe? I definitely did see them. Here we go, 50-foot flat cars. Lovely. So we can hopefully boost this up to pretty much the full length that we need it to be. Beautiful. Look at that. That's still good. So these are going to be fast trains, we'd hope. And yeah, tank cars. That should be nice and easy. These ones should go to mediocre, but they'll be okay. Okay, so let's see how we go with this. Flat cars are still reasonably low in terms of the capacity, so we do need to keep that in mind. Potentially, we might actually want to add an additional one on, which I might do. Lovely. Okay, so let's do this modification. And bam. All right, so our train 96 now, which is probably just in the middle of... No, not 96. Train 132. Has actually been sent back to the depot, which is good. So we might just have it go to the depot and hang out there. And we can reassign that to new lines if we want to. All right, what I'm going to quickly do here, we've got our... coffee train. That's quite an old locomotive running there. So I'm going to add this to our coffee train, and then we're going to get it modified and get probably just replace everything, to be honest. So I will add you on here. You can go to the front. Sell off this one, and we're aiming at a capacity of at least 154 when we get rid of all these old box cars. All right, 180 we're going to do, so we'll modify that, and that is another old girl off our network and into retirement. I just wanted to take a few moments to have a look at Santa Rosa as well. So Santa Rosa obviously has been switched over to our new individual trains for individual towns initiative. And I mean, look at it. It was really struggling to grow. Like we had gridded out all of this area ages ago. Like, you know, I think it was still in the 1800s when we did that. But since we switched on the personalized, shall we say, trains for Santa Rosa, it's really started to take off, and I'm really happy to see that, and hopefully we'll continue to see that for the other towns we're servicing as well. Now, one little build I do want to work on this episode centers around our iron ore mine. So our iron ore trains are quite disruptive to this whole network, and they are such a massive part of the network as well. So they disrupt it, but they are also largely the reason it's here. What I was thinking we might do is be some good people and actually give them an individual set of tracks to run on. This should be fairly simple to do, and should keep them segregated from the rest of the network, where our trains are, you know, slightly faster and they're running longer distances as well. So two parts of this. We will quadruplicate this stretch of track between our iron ore mine and our steel mill. And secondly, we're going to switch our through trains to run through the middle here. And we'll actually have the iron ore trains unloading in what is currently our through tracks for the steel mill. So we'll set up the quad tracks first, and then we'll go from there. I'm using the wrong tracks as well. So we are going to need to slightly realign this stretch of track here, which is fine. It probably could use straightening anyway. So we're going to quickly chuck pause on. Now we're going to do a bit of deleting here, which is going to unset some people. I actually want to fix this up as well while we're here. Once again, with the lots and lots of stretches of track for whatever reason. Oh, we've got a little tiny stub of track there. That's why it won't work. I'm actually going to lay this new stretch of track down as a bit of high speed. Oh, just missing there. Okay, don't know why construction isn't possible. We might just give it another go and see if it locks on. Okay. Gotta do a bit of work here, getting this working. Yeah, perfect. Okay. All right, so we've got that connected back up. And I just want to check here, who's using each terminal? So terminal 1, Santa Rosa Coal doesn't even exist anymore. You can just get rid of that. Oh, that's fine. Our iron ore will need to use terminal 5 and 6. And yeah, everything else is fine. And we're going to start to separate the lines. Of course, we've got some iron ore trains running, well, sort of in the wrong place at the moment, aren't they? But we should be able to, well, hopefully, feed them to the correct place without too much bother. Probably makes sense for us to keep a crossover or something like that, just in case we do need to, you know, move things around or whatever. So this is going to be our through set of tracks now. So no trains are going to be running through these, or stopping through these, I should say. And we're probably just going to need to rethink this a little bit, because it obviously is quite a complicated little connection. I think we'll be okay. So for our through, I actually don't know if we have any through movements, to be completely honest. But hey, better than nothing, or better than wanting it and not having it, I guess. Actually, no, we do have through movements. We've got our grain trains. But I don't think we have anything that will want to run out of this, actually, now that I think of it. So probably just the through tracks will be fine. Let me think on that, just in case I'm wrong. Okay, looking pretty good. We just need to connect up our remaining little bits. We should be good from there. Okay. And what is the problem now? Why can't we connect it all? Is it because we are using different alternate? Okay, cool. That's fixed. I would suggest we should probably still have a connection like this. That's just for any trains that are stuck on the wrong part of the network, like so. So I think that should be good. That should cover everything. Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but we're going to unpause and see what happens. Okay, so I'm hoping this change here will increase the throughput on our, well, everything here, but primarily on our iron ore, and should also allow our grain trains to get through much quicker as well. So fingers crossed. Now, last episode, we got all our materials into this machinery factory over here, and we haven't actually set up a line to get it out of there yet. And the easiest way to do this would be, of course, to send it up to Laredo, but we're having issues with the amount of traffic going up this bank towards Laredo, so I don't actually want to do that. I think the simplest thing we could do is to get it to either Oklahoma City or to Dayton. And I don't actually know which way we'll go. I'm thinking probably Dayton, because Dayton is going to be a little less busy than anything else. which should hopefully sort of balance the amount of, freight we've got going to each of those terminals. So we will need to punch a line through here, which we don't currently have set up. Nice and easy one. I don't think this should be too complicated to have set up. We don't want electrification here. And we're going to want a nice capable steam engine here. So we will be going with the C&O trains that we have just put on our cross river trip train as well. The other thing we could actually do is try using some diesels. Just thinking. If we were to get 2 diesels, what would we be looking at? No, I think the power is just too overwhelming for, this steam train. We could potentially use these diesels for our trains running to our towns when we go to switch over a few more in this episode. But for our sort of feeder trains into our terminals, we're going to keep using these nice big trains. All right, so we've got our train purchased. We'll set up a new line for it. From San Francisco west to Dayton. And that should be running the correct way, or the way we want it to run anyway. Perfect. Okay, so, yeah. That should hopefully allow us to start feeding some of those machines through. Something else I want to do is to fix this crossing point. It doesn't make a lot of sense. We've got lots and lots of freight running through here. Obviously, we've got 8 trains using this corridor, and they are going to block our main line if we don't do something about it. So I think we might run a bit of a dive that will run underneath our main line because we shouldn't need to really join anything up here. I don't think. No. If they do need to access any other lines, they can use this connection here, but that's not going to be a primary movement. So we might wait until this empty train's passed through, and then we will make a change. All right, let's whack pause on and start to... you ended up on the wrong tracks. It's not where I wanted you to go. But we should be able to fix it. Okay, so we're going to start heading down and keep going down and keep going down. Oh, there we go. All right, we should be able to unpause. We do need to re-signal all of this. But yeah, there we go. All right, and it's time for the next stage of our freight network changes that we're doing. So we've gotten up to Oklahoma at this point, but we still have these trains running, sort of stopping at Glendale, Everett, Wilmington, and onto Dayton. So we're going to be basically switching that off now. I think Oklahoma will be used for these 3 cities here. And Dayton we will use probably for the inner line. And potentially through to Richmond and beyond, potentially, but haven't quite got that far yet. So we're sort of flying by the seat of our pants, but I think it'll be all right. So the Oklahoma to Dayton freight isn't actually doing too badly, but that could potentially just be because it's completely starved for goods. So we'll start making the changes now. So we'll get a Glendale and an Everett train set up first. Glendale is actually really simple, and there's a reason for that, which we will resolve here, is because we don't have any distribution network. We don't have any public transport set up either. So what we'll need to do is remedy that while we're doing this sort of these sort of changes. So we'll need to chuck a truck unload stop over here because everything else is or should be covered by the station itself. So that's nice and easy. And we'll also get some bus stops in as well. Oh no, that's not where we're unloading. I'll unload over there. Next, let's get 10 buses purchased. And we'll get 2 different lines set up for these ones. All right, now we will get the freight shuttle set up. So it'll run from Oklahoma to Glendale and return. I'm not going to run that set of tracks. Cool. And yeah, we should just need the one, I'm thinking. And we can probably use diesels as well. So we can go with a set of RS1s, I think. Maybe get 2. And I think that should be good. I think that should be powerful enough. And obviously it represents the sort of start of that change and that transition from, from steam to the age of the diesel. So we will get probably just set up with some Pennsylvania railroad runs, actually. Railroad, I think I said. Railroad, the correct term to be using. And let's see if we can get up to 240. I reckon we can't, actually. Oh, we can. Okay, cool. So we'll get that purchased and we will have it added to the new line we set up, which I think is as yet unnamed. Line 9. And that was a massive slowdown I just had. OBS was complaining I was overloading the encoder, but I think it was just the game trying to load up those new trains. Alrighty, cool. So that is the first change we can make there. So we're going to pull Glendale off this train. Very nice. Everett will be next. I think what we can do here, we can probably pull off one train. And in fact, we're probably going to end up replacing all of these. They're quite old. Everett actually needs a bit of everything. So it does need food, it needs fuel, and it also needs goods and construction materials. I wonder if we could try, I don't know if this will work, actually containerizing this, because we do have containers now that will carry everything. So I'm going to give it a go. They're lower capacity, and that's the, I guess, the main trade-off. But we'll see if it'll work. We might call this our containerization pilot, shall we say. I'm going to see how we go making a 240 meter long rack of flat cars. Decent. Let's see. I'm just going to do it for this shuttle line, and we can just see how it goes. And finally, we've just got Wilmington left. So what we're going to do, and we're on our Oklahoma to Dayton freight line at the moment. So obviously we're going to pull Everett off. And then we're going to pull everything off except Oklahoma City South and Wilmington. So easy peasy, and we can get all of these trains replaced as well. Wilmington is pretty good at the moment just with boxcars. We've got probably a small amount of fuel required, but hardly any. So let's see. I reckon one train will probably be okay. We've also unlocked the Penn Railroad 4444. Which is, wow, looks great, doesn't it? I think we'll go with the 284 for the moment, and that should be okay. I reckon that is going to be fine for the moment. We can always duplicate it if we need to as well. Now let's move on to Cedar Rapids. Call it Cedar Rapids again. Cedar Rapids. So this is the next town along from Flint. And obviously we've done the rest of this line with goods coverage and also public transport. So we will continue on to doing this at Cedar Rapids as well. Rapids! So we'll get our bus stop down. And I think we'll just go with the one line here. And obviously we're going to need to construct a cargo connection as well. Now we've got a nice little spot here that doesn't have any buildings constructed on it yet, which we can get our truck stations set up there. And hopefully we can do that without, yeah, perfect. We can do that without having to pull any buildings down, which is always a welcome, obviously a welcome thing. If we get our truck unload stop here, we're pretty good covering everything. And just to add a little bit of redundancy as well, we can punch a connection through here as well. Cool. Now we just need to connect up our freight tracks, and we should be good to go. Alrighty, so we just need to get a train purchase for this one. This one will be able to run as just box cars as well, which is really good. Nice and simple one. I think we might go with some RS1s on this one as well. So at the moment, I guess we're doing a variety of diesel and steam locomotives, which is okay. It's once again, it's that transitional thing, isn't it? So get that purchased and get it on the line. So the last set of changes I want to make in this episode are on our Laredo to Dayton freight line. So at the moment, so this is our freight train that's running from Dayton all the way through to Laredo and return. As I established earlier, we want the freight on this inner line to be handled from Dayton, not from Laredo, because we're starting to get some significant congestion at the terminus at Laredo. So first things first, we are going to remove Laredo as our terminus there. So that's no longer an issue. That's done. That's finished. And next we will start getting our individual trains set up for the 3 towns we're going to be servicing here. So El Paso has quite significant requirements from both a fuel and a food point of view. This is quite a short route as well. So I'm wondering if we could potentially get away with using one train. I'm going to try it, and if it doesn't work out, obviously we can duplicate it or change it around following. So if we're running our Penn Railroads RS1s, let's chuck some flat cars on and see what sort of capacity we're going to have, because that is really going to be the determinant of what we're going to be doing here. So we've got 130. I think that's going to be okay. We'll try it out and see if it works or not, I guess. There's going to be a new line. It's just going to be running from Dayton through to the El Paso. Dayton itself could definitely do with some expansion. We've only got 3 platforms here. I reckon we could boost it up to at least 4 or 5, to be honest, and still be a little bit congested, but it's fine. I think at Salem we'll probably bump it up to 2 trains. Salem does have quite a few requirements, lots of food. A decent amount of machines are required as well. In terms of what we've already got running on our Laredo to Dayton freight line, we're probably going to retain one of this, which is our Pacific. So we might as well get some new trains purchased and running here. Once again, we're going to go with 284s. We have unlocked a couple of other types as well. And our final stop is going to be Fullerton. So, no, that's actually not what I wanted to pull off. So, my bad. In terms of our trains, so we are going to get rid of 2, our Atlantic and, what is this, an old 246 or something? Whatever it is, 264. We'll sell both of these. Keep this guy. And yeah, get a new one as well. So let's have a look. Yeah, decent capacity. It actually can probably handle, to be honest, what we want. But we probably do need to build a little bit of redundancy into the line as well. Oops, I actually want a new train here. We might just go with flat cars, to be honest. Did it again. Beautiful. So last episode we had the opportunity to run on one of our streamlined Super Hudsons. Today we're going to be hopping back on and continuing our journey onto LA to finish our ride on this line. So hope you enjoy. And here we are arriving at our terminus at LA. So yeah, that was a super cool little trip. The sort of stretch between Oklahoma and LA really gives the Super Hudsons a chance to really stretch their legs, which is, yeah, awesome. Some really nice high-speed travel happening there. A bit of slowdown around Laredo still, so might need to have a little bit of a rethink how we're having our trains flow through at that station. But yeah, hope you enjoy this one. And that is going to be about all we have time for this episode. So hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you get a ding to your device the next time I post a video. You can find links to all my social media in the description, so please jump on there, like, follow, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. A big shout out to my Founders Club patrons, Caleb and Isaiah. Thank you so much, the two of you, for helping to make this content possible. Now, a little bit of housekeeping for next week. So I'm actually going to be interstate over the weekend, so I'm going to have fairly limited time to record. So potentially there won't be a Tuesday episode of Transport Fever 2. There will obviously be a Thursday one as per usual. So if that's the case, apologies, but I will see you around later on in the week. But until next time, I'm Bob Dendry. This is Transport Fever 2, The Long Game. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.